How's it going, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. So I had a lot of people asking me about my current bow setup, what I shot all of 2018, and that was the Elite Ritual. If you've seen my previous videos, you know that I started with the Matthews Triax, and there was just some stuff about it that I didn't like, and I ended up going with the Elite Ritual, and I really liked it, and that's what I shot, that's what I finished the year with, and that's what I'm still currently shooting as of right now. And so I had some people asking me about my whole setup, what I ran on that bow the majority of the year. Now obviously this is 2019 and the Ritual is last year's bow. It's old news. Who wants that bow? They got the Ritual 30 this year. Well, 30 is kind of borderline for me. I used to really like the short bows, but I've found that 33, 34 inches shoots better. So unless you're just wanting something really short and compact, usually you're going to shoot a longer bow a little bit better. That string angle hits your face a little bit better in my opinion. And again, this is all opinion, so don't get mad at me if I'm knocking something that you like, or if I like something that you don't. That's just the way this is. But so without further ado, I'm going to get into my 2018 Ritual setup and what I'm currently shooting right now. So this is my Elite Ritual, and I think it looks really good. A lot of people go with a lot of flashy and bright colors. I think that black on black on black on gray on black, all those dark colors, I think it looks sweet because you're always going to have a little bit of flash. You want bright fletchings, you want a bright sight housing. So you got these little accents that look good, but overall I think this just looks really good. And again, all of this stuff is stuff that I've kind of tested out and checked and ended up liking. So if it's on this bow, you can believe that I enjoyed it. And I just Houdini'd a stabilizer on there because I realized that I had left it off whenever it was in my soft pack. But anyway, so we'll start with the stabilizer. So I went with the 8-inch bee stinger, and not because of anything other than just a little bit of extra weight up front. This bow has a little vibration. It doesn't need a lot of dampening. It just needed a little bit more stability. As with most bows, I mean, a little stability doesn't hurt anything. Even the most stable bows can always benefit from weight in the front as long as they're not too top heavy, I think. So this bee stinger, it does have a limb saver dampener on it, but like I said, I don't really need that dampening, just that weight, and it seems to work really good. It's no frills, there's nothing fancy about it. It's nice and sleek, doesn't catch a lot of wind. Moving on to the sight. This is one of the biggest changes I made for 2018. I went with a single pin sight. This is the Black Gold Ascent Vertic single pin with the big sight housing, the 2-inch sight housing. So I pushed it way out, got a bigger peep. Things just clicked for me whenever I put this sight on here. I've used multi-pins, and for whatever reason, my stupid brain just cannot distinguish which pin I need under like duress, I guess you would say, but I can remember to twist this knob. So it just works for me. And the simplicity of having that one pin that's sitting right in the middle of that sight housing, so you got your peep, your housing, your pin, everything just lines up perfectly. It just seems more natural for my brain anyway. But this thing is a lot of metal. It's a little heavy, but it's quality. I really like it. The controls are really nice, nice and stiff, but precise, and it's not hard to move it, but it's not just gonna fall down and stuff. Next would be the Tight Spot Quiver, and this was a new one for me as well. I've always just used a big old quiver and took it off in the tree, or whatever I was doing, I usually just pulled it off. This thing, if you can see, sets super close to that bow, and it hardly does any pulling over, because actually, when you figure your rest and your sight housing and stuff, adding weight to this side, it really doesn't, you know, I'm just kind of letting it balance where it wants, and it just kind of sits there. It doesn't pull a whole lot. So it's setting that close to the bow is really awesome. And I like the feature where it's got this one that pulls straight out, so you don't have to, you know, pull like this. So if you're a Western hunter and you're stalking or whatever, you got everything this way. You don't have to do this, you know, you can just pull it straight out and put it in. I like that feature, and everything fits nice and tight on it, so there's no vibration. It doesn't rattle or anything when you shoot. The rest I'm using is the QAD Ultra Rest, the HDX. It just works. I mean, there's nothing fancy about it. It's been around for a while, but there's a reason it's been around for a while. There's a reason that people still use it, because it's pretty awesome. It's a little noisy, but I think the quieter options out there aren't as well contained. So like the Trophy Taker Smackdown, I don't think is quite as contained as the Arrow is with this HDX. I mean, it just works. I like it. I haven't had any issues with it. I had the Q80 Hunter, and that one was entirely too loud in my opinion, and I didn't like it. But the HDX, I think, is worth the money. And finally, the arrows that I used is arrows that I've used in the past, and I keep going back to them because they're really, really awesome. It's the Black Eagle Deep Impacts, and they have a ton of point weight. So they got like a 42 grain outsert, depending on the size of the arrow you get, but this is a 42 grain outsert, I believe. I'm running 125 grain heads. I think they're almost 10 grains per inch in this 400 spine that I've got. So it's a heavy arrow and a lot of point weight, and they're super small diameter. These things flat out penetrate. I've shoot through most everyone's 3D targets that I have shot into, even some brand new ones. My buddy has a brand new turkey target, and it just shot right through the thickest part of it all the way through the target. I mean, these things penetrate like no other. The only thing that I'm questionable about is the outsert. Haven't had any issues with breaking, but for whatever reason, I've had some issues just trying to get the things glued on. So whenever they pull out, it's obviously wider, so it's kind of catching them a little bit more. If they're not super well glued, they can just pull right off. So I have ran into that, and that might be my fault, probably is. But yeah, other than that, these arrows are tough. They shoot really, really well. They're all really true. I haven't ran into any inconsistencies, but they just penetrate. Like if you're going after big game, that's definitely an arrow to check out. And so there you have it. That was my 2018 Elite Ritual setup. I loved everything about it, and most of those accessories are probably gonna stick with whatever bow I end up shooting this year. That's yet to be determined. If nothing is better, I'm still gonna shoot the Ritual because it's an awesome bow. But if you like this video, hit like, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I've got a lot of archery stuff coming out. Until next time, y'all be safe.